Hey, hey, here I is. Okay, Saturday, November 28th, and how time flies. I counted the number of I counted up the number of live hits to date, and it's over 100 since lockdown started. And well, I'm feeling pretty good about it. I love to play for you guys. And well, today is a mixed bag of sunshine and ominous clouds out there. The weather's gotten a little cold here in New York. But we're keeping on here at Shea Lucas Sinclair. And Caroline is working away behind the camera right now. Maybe she'll do a pop in. I love Larry David and his nomenclature of expressions for human behavior. A pop in is when you might encounter somebody on the street that you may or may not want to speak to, or they may not want to acknowledge you. In any case, Caroline? Oh well, she's very serious-minded right now. So, I'm in the electric mode, though I did bring the steel guitar here, and I have a piece or so to play for you guys. But I'll start right out today with this great piece by Pharoah Sanders from the album Karma. And as you know, karma is a bitch. It's inextricably bound up with payback, but it also has a splendiferous meaning if you, if you play your cards right, I guess is how they say. But this is also known as the Creator has a master plan. Pharoah Sanders, the creator, has a master plan, kind of a gloss on John Coltrane's A Love Supreme vamp, but you put a drone underneath any of these modular riffs, and you just take off. I love them. This kind of music sends me. I can remember, escapades in the high school days. Most memorable, probably associated with this music, was occupying an abandoned ski lodge somewhere outside Syracuse on one of the most frigid nights of the year in January. I think maybe I was like home from college. Perhaps it was in 1971 or early on in that year. And I think we had all partaken of the sacrament, which at that point was acid, though, you could choose your own poison. There was a lot of it around. And somebody put on the album Om by John Coltrane, which is definitely one of the most frightening Coltrane albums. I mean, a beautiful album, but very, very dark, incantatory trip deep into the hive mind. And somebody set me up with a guitar and a little amp, and I played my heart out to this music. So I don't know, it's always struck a resonance to me. One little update is that many years later, Walter Becker and Donald Fagen, who were Steely Dan, in essence, visited their record label out in Los Angeles. And at that point, they were on MCA Music Records. And they went up to have a meeting with people in the company. And to their horror, they saw actual master tapes, 2-inch tapes of the original sessions for all these great albums, free jazz albums on ABC Impulse, including A Love Supreme and Pharoah Sanders' albums, probably Karma being one. And they were just lying around in the hall because they had a storage space problem. And they most probably were junked or buried in a landfill. I think I've related the story that Van Dyke Parks told me when he wanted to remix and remaster Song Cycle, his magnum opus, which he recorded for Warner Brother Records. Got a lot of notoriety, though they didn't sell many copies, and then they were selling them for a penny in small ads at the back of the Village Voice. That's how I got my copy. He went to find the tapes, and he was directed to a plot of landfill outside Los Angeles. And I don't know if he got a backhoe and started digging, but he was unsuccessful in locating the tapes. And this is pretty awful. But then again, remember the big fire that burnt most of this library? I think it was near Disneyland, where many, many, many tapes from many, many record labels were stored. And the list is endless of all sorts of priceless musical artifacts gone forever. I mean, just vanished from the face of the earth, other than safety copies that might remain someplace. And kind of a disgrace. But anyway, I want to be the bearer of good news here. What's the good news, Tim? Well, the edict handed down by the Supreme Court, I thought, was not very good news insofar as it showed right away the trigger reflex of Amy Coney Barrett. As a card-carrying Jewish person, I definitely support prayer in synagogues, but the idea that overrides public health concerns, whereby you get a mass concatenation of people in one space for a wedding or religious ceremony or whatnot, such as Hasidic Jews like to do out in Williamsburg or wherever. Now, their communities are concentrated outside New York. I think that's really bad, because these can be super spreader events, as we all know, and this virus is deadly serious. And all it would take is for any of them to lose a loved one or a friend, God forbid a child. There's an article in USA Today how pandemic effects of COVID on young people are just coming to light in a serious way. There's so many Generation Z, I guess they're called now, or millennials, who believe they're impervious to catching this virus or that they will suffer permanently damaging effects. But this is not the case at all. So, yeah, that wasn't very good news, that Supreme Court decision. The other good news, though, was the way this judge so brusquely struck down, I guess, the last possible appeal in Pennsylvania to try and overturn election results by insinuating fraud, which of course they never did because they had no evidence other than hearsay, and at that, very vague, and at best it was only a handful of votes anyway, so it wouldn't have overturned their slate of electors. But just keep your eye on Donald Trump because he's capable of anything on the way out. That's all I gotta say. All right, so I think I'll switch now to National Steel guitar. And I'm going to do an arrangement of a piece you can find on my album Gary Lucas Plays Bohemian Classics, which came out originally in the Czech Republic in vinyl on my friend Richard Matter's Faust Records. And I believe there are still some vinyl copies available on my merch page at GaryLucas.com if you're a vinyl head. And then it's also available digitally on various download platforms, including iTunes, Spotify, of course, the dreaded Spotify. And this is, the mandate I had to record this album was to do my interpretations and arrangements of Czech classical music. I am of Czech Bohemian ancestry on my father's side. And I met back in the day with the then UN ambassador from the Czech Republic, Martin Paluš, and he was very much impressed with the album I did of Chinese pop from the 1930s, The Edge of Heaven. So that gave him, I guess, the impulse to commission me to come up with my own arrangements of Czech classical music and then to premiere it on the Czech national holiday, which was either the 23rd or the 24th. I have to double check this, but it was the anniversary of the Velvet Revolution, wherein the Russian puppet government that was installed in the Czech Republic left permanently, and Václav Havel was appointed the president of the country. And Václav was a friend and a supporter of my music, and attended a Gods and Monsters show with the Plastic People in New York. I also played with the band at a function that Havel presided over here in Chelsea, not too far from where we are. So several times I met him, and he was a super nice guy, and a big Zappa and Beefheart freak. Now, I can't wait to see this new Zappa film that Alex Winter has put together, though I've heard mixed reviews from some other friends of mine who've seen it. But what really intrigues me more than anything is to see some early footage of Don Van Vliet, Captain Beefheart, with his elementary school pal, I guess they were in elementary school, and teenage pal, Frank Zappa. They're in Lancaster, California, where Don grew up with Frank. Both of them were transplants to Lancaster. I think Frank was originally born in Baltimore, and his parents relocated. Don was born in Glendale, suburb of LA, actually, where we recorded Doc at the radar station. And anyway, the two kind of sniffed each other out, and they were the two main freaks of Lancaster, although I believe James Motorhead Sherwood, one of the original Mothers of Invention, was also part of that community of Lancaster people. And, well, it should be a good film. I'm told there's actually some audio of the famous jam session that was described in Pauline Butcher's book about Frank Zappa, called Freak Out, which I recommend highly. This is the occasion when Frank was living in this house known as the Log Cabin, which had been Tom Mix's log cabin, the cowboy star, Hollywood star, originally. And it was a lavish property with a waterfall and a pool artificial waterfall in Laurel Canyon. And the basement of the log cabin had rehearsal space for the mothers, and many of them crashed there for extended periods of time. Anyway, once they were visited by the rock royalty couple of Mick Jagger and Marianne Faithfull. And, there's photos Cal Schenkel took. Cal was the designer of all the great Zappa early pieces, album covers, and promotional flyers and ads. And he took photos of this historic jam with Frank Zappa, Captain Beefheart, and Mick Jagger, and I think a couple of Beefhearters, including, if I'm not mistaken, Zoot Horn Rollo, Bill Harkleroad. And anyway, no one has ever seen footage of it, and maybe that doesn't exist, but I'm told that this film has a short excerpt of the jam. But I do remember Don complaining to me about the jam many years later, and he said, yeah, that Mick gave me a bad mic. I couldn't really sing the way I wanted to do it. So Don always had some fallback positions of if things didn't work out totally his way. That I want to hear it, so I'd like to be my own judge of the results of this jam. So anyway, I'm hoping to see it pretty soon. I think it just went online somewhere or other, but the reviews have been good. All right, so I was going to play this piece. It's from an opera by Leos Janáček, one of my favorite composers of all time, of any nationality. He happens to be Czech. And this is from his opera, The Cunning Little Vixen. And it's some interval music, but it's quite magical, so let's see if we can get this thing happening. That is a piece called Q and A, and some of that was incorporated in a score that I composed along with the Dutch composer Reza Nemovar for Jacques, or as we called it, Jacuzzi. It's a 1924 anti-war film by Abel Gance, French director, really powerful film. And we did this at the Holland Festival. Oops. This is Lulu's crib right over here. So she's the master of this domain. Yeah. And, well, I don't think the score exists anymore. Maybe it does. I have to contact those guys. But that was a lot of fun, and especially working with young Dutch musicians. I love it. I mentioned I just did an album with Peter Willems. I can't wait to hear some mixes. Come on, Peter. You know, let's get going. Also, Emmy Ohai Resnick, who's a great violinist. Hello, Emmy. She just had a birthday, and she was part of the ensemble Chameleon, who worked on that film score with me. And I want to recommend two little things here. Okay, Elena Ferrante, one of my favorite authors. This is her latest book, The Lying Life of Adults. And I've read everything in translation by her that's come out in English. And she is just superb. I can recommend her work highly enough. They did a very good version of most of her first two books. She has a very famous tetralogy based in Naples. The first book in it is called My Brilliant Friend. So HBO picked it up over here, and it was something so special. The casting alone was superb, to find people who actually inhabited the characters. I mean, if you read the books, they're vividly described, all the characters. I won't go into it, but check it out. Caroline loved this book. I'm reading it now. And then I just got this after a long hunt because it's out of print. But what it is a DVD of a film starring Nico, great Velvet Underground singer and solo artist, made in France in 1961, called Striptease in English. The director is Jacques Poitrenaud. You can see excerpts from it on YouTube. Serge Gainsbourg did the score, and one of the outtakes has Nico singing the title song, which is beautiful. I've posted it a few times. But if you get a chance, check out the sooner you can find it. I think all of the dubbed versions in English are really hard to find. It came out on Mondo Macabro label, but I don't know, one of those smart large video companies that specialize in foreign films really should have a look-see into acquiring rights to this film, because it's quite good. All right, so I think that's enough for today. And it was a pleasure to play for you as always. And I'll be back on Tuesday. And until that time, stay safe. Please wear the mask. It's no joke what's going on out there. I tried to wear my mask as much as possible when I was overseas, despite not seeing a lot of people wearing them on the street anyway. But I hope that that's changing, because this thing is a killer. All right. All the best to you. Love. See you on Tuesday, and stay safe. Be well. Bye now.